Check, check. Check, check, check. All right. Shabbat shalom. There we go. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Everybody just let me know if you can hear us, if the volume is good. Please put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear us. Sounds like we can hear ourselves. Please put a 1 in the chat and we'll kind of get started. Yeah, whether you're on the Facebook Live or on the channel. So Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. I appreciate that, family. All right, all right. Everybody can hear us? Good. Good to hear, good to hear. All right. Thank y'all for joining us for another Shabbat, another episode. Most High destroyed this wicked place yet, right? Captain Shazael, all right?
I'm so freaking all right.
And we're continuing with our series in discussing, you know, Black History Month is what everybody's talking about. When you get to Black History Month, it's like, what do you hear about? You hear about Martin Luther King. You hear about I Have a Dream. But again, we focus not on what he said in the beginning when he was completely asleep and pretty much destroyed our people with integration, which, by the way, is one of the worst things that ever happened to our people. But when he had the interview with Harry Belafonte, he said that, and you guys saw it at the beginning, he said that he fears he has integrated his people into a burning house. Into a burning house. And if y'all look around, this house has been on fire for a long time. And we're discussing ways of getting out of this burning house. So I don't know if you guys can see it on the board, but 5 steps. First step, everybody in the room can see it. Getting out of this burning house. First step is the spiritual separation. All right? You got to separate spiritually. Stop praying to Caesar Borgias. All right? For the white boy, those of y'all don't know. Psychologically, stop thinking that everybody loves you. Okay? Stop thinking that they want you part of their system. That's part 2. That was what we did last week. The week before that, we did the spiritual. Now we're on the economic, which one of my boys was saying is one of the most important ones, because it is. And that's where we at. Is economic separation. All right? Now, when you start to look at things, you start to think, well, these Israelites ain't no economists. They ain't no CPAs, accountants doing the books. No, we're not. But we have a spirit of prophecy. And we have eyes to see just like you do. And there is a group of people that continually stays on top while the same group of people stays on the bottom. And I want you to first all understand how the game of chess is attached to white supremacy. Because white supremacy is handled like a game of chess, okay? This racist system is only escaped if you understand how to play chess, not checkers, okay? Why do I say that? Because a checkers player only thinks about what? Close. How many moves is a chess player thinking about? Huh? One move. The checkers player is only thinking about their next move. But the chess player is thinking about their next 5 or 6 moves and how those moves are linked to other moves. That's the way the chess player thinks, okay? And that's the way white supremacy works with the system of economics. See, a lot of our people, they don't know what freedom is and they don't know what power is, okay? Now, I want y'all to think about something. I want us to think about something called symbolism over substance. And a lot of what we see in the media is symbolism, all right? And symbolism doesn't mean anything. But a lot of our people fall for symbolism. You see stuff on the media, you fall for it. And this causes us not to have substance, all right? Meaning things that are tangible. Now, I'm going to talk about financial freedom and slavery. And I think the best way to help everybody to understand how to be financially free is to explain how you have been trained to become a slave. All right? This is the best way to show you how to become financially free. All right? So, for example, I'm a so-called black man in America, and my pathway to freedom is spending my life trying to work for the oppressor, and then I'm going to spend my life trying to live in a neighborhood with my oppressor. Then I'll spend my life allowing my oppressor to educate my children. And then I'm going to give all of my money to my oppressor by buying all of my oppressor's products. And then I'm going to be free. That's my pathway to freedom. Everybody see that? How crazy does that sound? See, no intelligent person of color has ever said that, ever. But this is what we do. But this is a trained behavior. This is how we've been trained to be. And a lot of us, yes, a lot of us just do that. That's just what we do. And one of these reasons is because we don't have power and freedom, because we don't design our lives for power and freedom. See, a lot of us were really built for slavery. Really built for slavery. We were trained for slavery at an early age. And we were trained to chase the wrong things. We were trained to want the wrong things, which ultimately causes us to do the wrong things. All right. And it causes us to contribute to our incarceration. All right. In this system. It's designed that way. For example, with economics, right? We spend our whole life thinking, this is the way we were taught. We spend our whole life thinking that we need to go to a huge white university. And that big white university says, yeah, we'll help you be successful and we'll prepare you by getting you hooked up with a job to work for one of our white friends. All right. And then you go to this university and they take $200,000 of your family wealth just for you to go to this school. And then you're stuck. After that, you're a sharecropper. After that, that's what you are. You're a sharecropper. And the reason that you are in that place is because, and you have to work for these people, is because you can't make enough money to pay off that debt with that huge white university. So you spend your life contributing to white supremacy because you're working for this big white company so you can repay the debt of that big white school. Now, we were trained to do this, early from the teachings of elementary school and middle school. All of our teachings in elementary and middle school were all Eurocentric. They were all taught by the oppressor from a European standpoint, all right? And everything you were taught were basically about the greatness of white people and how the success of people of color is based on how close they were to white people, all right? You were trained to worship civil rights leaders. This is what we were trained, to worship civil rights leaders who did things like walk across bridges, march in lines, and convince you that it was a way of life. It was noble to sit there and get your butt whooped by racists just for the opportunity to sit at their lunch counters, spend money at their businesses where they spit in the food. So you literally got your ass beat just for having the right to spend money at their businesses for them to spit in your food that you ate. Does that make any sense? Are we processing any of this? And convince you that are we processing any of this? Is any of this making sense to anybody? Okay, because this is how we were conditioned to be economic slaves. All right, now let's first understand how we're supposed to treat each other among Israel, okay? When it comes to finances, as opposed to the way the world treats us and the way we treat each other. And if this is your first time joining us and you don't know who Israel is, it's the so-called blacks, so-called Mexicans, and so-called indigenous Indians of Seminole and Negro descent. Those are the true children of Israel written of in the scripture, according to history, prophecy, and archaeology. Shabbat Shalom, all praises. Shabbat Shalom, Naba R.I.A., good to see you. Good to see you, sweetheart. Let's get our first scripture. Let's get Deuteronomy 23. Let's go to the law. Let's see what the law says about how we're supposed to treat each other when it comes to our finances. Because y'all know that's in the Bible. Did y'all know that that was in the Bible? That how we're supposed to treat each other financially is in the Bible? Was anybody aware of that? When it comes to our money, anybody? No? No? How about you, Al? You know that? Well, let's get it then. Let's bring it out. Let's get Deuteronomy 23 and 19. All right, go ahead and bring it out.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother.
Read that part again.
Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother.
Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Okay, read on.
Usury of money.
Usury of what?
Usury of money.
Go ahead.
Usury of victuals. Usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
Usury upon anything that is lent upon money and upon victuals. Does anybody know what usury is?
Is it like interest?
That's exactly what it is. Usury is what the Christian church pastor does to you every month. They call it tithes. That's usury. That's interest. You don't pay a certain amount. You basically are paying a percentage. And that's not in the scriptures. Okay? Now, seeing that we understand what we're not supposed to do with each other, let's see what the law says about strangers or people who are not of the nation of Israel. Read the next verse.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger.
Unto who?
Unto a stranger.
Unto a stranger, read.
Thou mayest lend upon usury.
How about that? How about that? We can tax them. We can charge them interest in the law. Read on.
But unto thy brother, thou shalt not lend upon usury. That Yahweh thy Elohim may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Y'all see that? We cannot charge each other interest. If y'all need money and y'all come to me and I give you money, you need $100. I'm not going to charge you $150 to pay it back like the banks do us, right? We can't just go borrow $100 and only pay $100 back. A lot of times you borrow $100, what you gonna pay about 140, 139, 35. You're paying like 35, 40% interest. So you're gonna pay 135. Hey, listen, it sounds wrong, but technically they're not of our nation. So according to the law, that's correct. They can charge usury. We can't charge usury amongst ourselves, but we can tax them. Everybody understand that? Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? Makes sense, right? Okay, good. Let's get Deuteronomy 15, verse 7. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee.
So y'all see that? It's talking about our people again, right? Read.
Thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
We should give to them. We should help them. Okay? If they're in our gates, they're among our people. Read on.
Slightly. Verse 8. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth.
Good. So if you got it and your people need it, and they are in need, especially those who are in need, that are keeping the law, you give what you have when you can. Does that make sense to everybody? Good. Now I'm gonna show you guys something. Of course, you know I got some visuals. This isn't gonna be a very long lesson, but I want it to be very detailed because this law in Israel We don't understand this law. We just do not understand this law. Okay. Tawada, Shabbat Shalom, eh? Got it. Got it. All right. Can everybody in the room hear that right there? Okay. All right. So this is going to be some fair use. We're doing this for teaching purposes only. All right. And this is everything wrong with the stimulus bill, is what this video is called. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Andre J. Hope you're doing well. And something interesting has happened with the stimulus bill. There's some really strange stuff that was snuck in there that no one's really talking about. And normally I don't make stimulus.
Is everybody online? Can you guys hear us? Can you guys hear the video? Can you all just let me know in the chat if you guys can hear us? Hear the video? we just got a delay, so I'm just giving everybody a chance. Do me a favor, turn that down, the volume down just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, oh, no, not too much, because I want to hear it in the room. You can turn it back down. Okay, everybody can hear.
Videos, there's plenty of YouTubers that talk about this sort of stuff, but I haven't yet seen anyone talking about the strange things, anything that's wrong with this video. So the first thing I want you to know is this is not about President Donald Trump. This is not Democrat versus Republican. These are just some strange things that I've noticed. And the first of these is that the bill itself was 5,593 pages long, and Congress actually had around 6 hours to read it all and then decide what to do with it.
5,000 pages. Y'all heard that, right? It was 5,000 pages. They had 6 hours to read. Do y'all think that's possible? No. Does anybody think that's possible?
I guess they speed read.
I speed read. That's impossible. In 6 hours? Mm-mm.
If they all like read, take a part of the book, like, hey, let's read.
They're not that smart, trust me.
It's like group reading, you know? Group reading. Oh, you go home, read this.
You're so nah, that's not gonna work. They did not do that. They're too busy fighting each other to do that. Right?
No, I'm not on you. Read a book that has that many pages in it. It would take me a good couple months to read through it. But the problem is, and it's really throwing me off with this, if you go to Bill right now and you look at this for yourself, just follow the words, you will see it for yourself. It's very, very strange. So the word aircraft appears in the bill 208 times. The word weapon appears 46 times. The word munition also 46 times. But
So he said, because I know the video is trying to catch up to itself. He said weapon, aircraft, and munition all appeared multiple times. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
what are these weird weaponry words about things we actually need, like healthcare? That only appears 24 times. What about forbearance? That's only 11 times. Nurse, that's only 3 times.
Right.
Doctor, 20 times. 0 times. Don't give credit to Alan.
What's interesting, Shabbat Shalom family? What's interesting is the word mask. That one surprised me. In the stimulus bill, the word mask is not in there at all. 5,000 pages. It ain't in there once, right? And isn't that interesting? I mean, that's all they talk about. Wear your mask, wear your mask. But the stimulus bill is, because of the coronavirus, doesn't mention masks not once. Watch what it does mention.
This, and it was really strange where Congress was sort of putting their priorities. And as far as we know, we are paying for this bill long term. And you should definitely know what's included in it. So we'll give you a quick breakdown of what's actually inside. One of the bigger items on this list, for example, is study one for weapons procurement. And that's for production, operation.
So weapon procurement, that's to make weapons better for the Navy. That's in the stimulus package. Okay?
Torpedoes, missiles, other forms of weapons. The amount of $4.4 billion.
Y'all see that? For the Navy. $4.4 billion for weapons for the Navy. Okay? $2.1 billion to the Air Force. Now this is the stimulus bill. Okay.
Plus an additional $2.3 billion to the Space Force.
What? 2.3 billion for the Space Force to fight Yahweh. 2.3 billion for the Space Force. This is the stimulus package. Okay? This is the one they already passed. This is the one that got everybody, or supposedly got everybody $600. So you got 600. Space Force got 2.5 billion. Y'all see that, right? Okay. He got it.
Remember, this is in addition to the fact that we military $740 billion just 2 weeks ago, which also included a controversial 3% pay raise. I think the one that we're talking about the most right now is $500 million for Israel.
I'm gonna leave that right there.
For what?
For the Israeli.
$500 billion for Israel. In our stimulus package, that's supposed to go to helping Americans.
Now the Israelis.
Well, the 500 billion is to help them. The stimulus package is still to help them, but it's supposed, they told us it's to help us. Okay? And I guess this is how you make America great again. Okay.
And yes, that one's real. That's not 300 for defense, weapons, and research.
For defense, weapons, and research. For Israel, for Israelites to have $500 billion. All right?
So I gave some what you think about, but I'll be right back. I'm just kidding, of course, but we can't single out Israel because inside of the stimulus package, a lot of other countries will also be financially from
How about that? Pay attention to these countries.
actually broken down in the right order, but we're also giving away $85.5 million to Cambodia, $132 million.
$85.5 million to Cambodia. Look at this.
Burma, $134.9 million, giving $250 million.
So $250 million is going to Jordan, okay? Lebanon and Egypt, okay?
Egypt, Tunisia, Oman, and
$453 million to the Ukraine. All right?
Well, I'm not against aid. But at the same time, maybe you can spend some money here back home because some of the states here are actually growing.
So, well, that's a good thing. Now, y'all saw those numbers. Everybody saw that, right? Okay. First of all, a lot of those countries are actually in our land getting benefited by the United States from our tax dollars. And we're going to talk about how much money we're pumping into this system. All right. I'm going to show y'all something that's going on in Mexico. All right. Oh, it's age restricted, you know. They think I'm not over. Okay, well,
I think you can click on.
I can watch on YouTube. Okay. All right.
Cardio burns fat, right? No. Cardio actually burns calories, usually in the form of carbon.
Okay, this must be an ad.
Yeah, it's loading up.
What do you guys think about those numbers, first of all? Was anybody aware of those numbers? Yeah, okay, good. that somebody that was aware of those numbers. Because I wasn't until I did the research. I wasn't aware.
Crazy. White America always spend money that has been dedicated for us in other countries.
Right.
They don't help everybody outside of us. Anybody,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's just the way it is.
Right.
And it's been like that for a very, very, very long time. And they're trying to keep it like that. That's the Rothschilds and so forth. You know, you talk with them.
Right. And then look what they did. Sent that money right back home.
Right back home.
Mm-hmm. Now this cartel that does all these drugs and guns in their safe house, they're now packing tuna, rice, and toilet rolls for Mexico's poor.
Really?
Watch this. So because the government of Mexico is not helping the poor at all.
Right.
At all. Y'all know why they're not helping? Because the government of Mexico, the people that run that country, are Spaniards. They're not really Mexicans. They're Spaniards. Those people are from Spain. Okay? Which would be Edomites, technically.
Really?
And y'all gonna see them. Watch. And if y'all notice, this is on BBC News because CNN's not going to show this. Fox ain't going to show this. Okay.
You don't know, you know.
No, you're not supposed to know any of this. The Chapo package.
Right.
Jail for life. Meanwhile, the people that deal drugs on the highest level in this country, they get acquitted. They get to walk away.
Right.
Okay, because most of them are lawyers anyway.
Right.
All politicians, in case y'all don't know this, all politicians are lawyers. They're all lawyers.
What's up with Trump?
You're not a politician.
Right. You want to be.
You see that? She says that they say that they're. The fact is they're giving us food, they're not tarnishing us, they're helping us. The experts. This is the security experts. Watch this. They say it's very important. Y'all see that? Very important for them to have a social skill. Okay? And why? In the communities, right? With the people, right? Narco philanthropy. And the Mexican president hates it. You're not supposed to get in poor people no food.
Right.
Y'all gotta die. You see that? I mean, if you the president, the least you could just say is, look, just let them feed them. Let them feed them. Let them give them water. Let them do what they need to do. But what? So, you see that? How much different does that look than any politician you got running around these days? Criminal groups distributing aid packages isn't helpful. They can't do it, but the criminals are the problem. They're the problem for killing each other, dealing drugs with each other, and feeding poor people. They're the problem. What helps them is stopping their misdeeds. That's what helps them. They gotta stop feeding poor people. Wow. And that will help them. We'll make it easier on them.
Sí, pues en el grupo a veces hacen cosas malas porque se tienen que defender uno muchas veces de muchas cosas. De gobierno, de peligro, de todo. Porque son las cosas malas que se olvidan que la gente cree que son malas, pero ustedes solamente nos defendemos. La protección de la mente aquí, a nosotros es lo primero.
See what he said? Because without them, we are nothing. Without people. These are curses.
Modern day Rome shit.
I mean, it's the same stuff going on right here in the United States. Same people being oppressed right here. How often are we going to see that in the news?
Yeah.
Not often, right?
No, when we see.
And this is showing a clear-cut difference between the elites and the people that are at the bottom. Financially speaking, you know, he wasn't talking about how much money he's going to roll out and what they're going to do for the poor people. He's saying that they need to stop. She can't hear. She got to turn on the speaker. She can't hear. Oh no, that was earlier.
I asked her because you can't hear mom. She said yes.
Yeah. So she can hear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scroll down and you see the ones in the chat. You see the ones in the chat?
It's because she's on
YouTube?
text messages.
Oh, okay. How long ago was that message?
Well, it was around 31, and then I just texted her.
Oh yeah. That was early. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna watch another video. How interesting was that? Interesting. That shows another reason why the elites do have to shut down a lot of these systems. You know, yeah, there's a lot of bad things going on with the gangs and stuff like that, but y'all gotta understand that, like, the reason that the gangs initially started in California was to protect the people and to feed the people. That was why it started in California originally. You know, there's a movie coming out called Judas and the Messiah.
Yeah.
Y'all seen that, right? Yeah. It's gonna be about the Black Panthers.
Right.
Okay. And the Black Panthers started for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Food program. And the government hated it.
Yeah.
They hated it so much they killed the man.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to be feeding those poor people. You're not supposed to be feeding them. I don't care if they are your people. You're not supposed to be feeding. That was an economic attack because when you look at the history of the Black Panthers, they were systematically in poor communities, in the ghettos. And all those kids that didn't have lunch, didn't have breakfast, they had 3 meals a day. When you do the research, they got 3 meals a day for free.
Not only that, a lot of us brothers and sisters don't realize and haven't picked up a book to research, but they actually initiated the food stamps program.
I didn't know that.
They instituted it. They were doing their own system, and the government came in and started messing with them. You know how they did, probably seals and then sent them to jail. But people don't realize it, but those what know everyday run-of-the-mill corner wannabe street thugs. These boys were college boys.
Wow. Can y'all make sure I hook your mama up too? Your mama wants to be hooked up with that. You know what? If you look at what we just saw about the cartel, they said they had to be protected from the army. That's the same thing the Black Panthers were doing. They had to be protected from the police. They were started to protect the community from the police. Go ahead, brother.
CREW stands for Community Revolution in Progress. It was originally California Revolution, so they expanded. Bloods of Black leaders over our democracy.
Right. That was how it started.
Right.
And it was all started for the people. Okay. So we gotta really understand the roots of the economic demand that our people have when it comes to the social constructs we have in these communities. All right. Show you something right here. Show you something else right here.
Hey, did you know that the Black Panthers back then would uniform and be in weaponry as broke down in squads, and they would walk their community and they would stop Esau from coming in the neighborhood, peddling drugs, peddling whiskey, whatever, they was keeping it out. And like you said again, the government didn't like that.
They shut that down.
They shut that down. They set up community centers, all of it through Watts. They had refuge. They had places where you and your family could get secondhand clothes. They had all of this. They had government. They had a warehouse with government. What do you call it there? Surplus food, and they was feeding the kids, like you said, and developing little in-house daycares and stuff. They was trying to get the people right.
Yeah. And that history is documented. You know, we're not making this stuff up. That history is documented. I mean, it's documented so well that now you're getting ready to have this storyline of Judas and what's it called? Judas and the Messiah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have this whole storyline of once again showing our people how we've destroyed ourselves. But that's what it's gonna point to. But who's the real cause of it? It's Esau. The same one that's done it across the planet. Nobody's got a body count like Esau. Nobody. Okay. We can say what we want about the cartel, the Crips and the Bloods. Nobody got a body count like Esau. Okay. Let's check this out. And this is fair use as well.
The only reason the door to River City Antiques is open today in downtown Stillwater is for a bit of hopeful spring cleaning. We're working into real. Todd Miller says he's had no luck securing small business loans. Online sales help, but aren't what he's accustomed to on beautiful days.
Yep, y'all see that? Esau probably been running this store for 60 years, making a killing in their kingdom, right? How is it all of a sudden you've been running this store for 60 years and all of a sudden now, right now, it's a problem? Okay, this is judgment that's coming to this place, all right?
city's already canceled some of their traditional large summer events. Mayor Clint Kozlowski is now trying to figure out a way just to get people out.
See, they can't figure out a way for y'all to come out and spend your money. They're trying to figure it out. How do we get them to come out and spend their money? Because now y'all done caused this scare, and don't nobody want to even shake hands no more. They doing this. They're doing that. It's ridiculous. But Esau, you know, IQ said it, one of our elders said it. Esau has definitely won the mind game. Has definitely won the mind game in this whole virus thing, right?
Bob is counting on plans like that, not just for him, but for his city.
Y'all hear that? This kingdom is finished. They ain't gonna fix that. They ain't gonna fix that. These businesses like this, they're done. Now let me tell y'all something about that. This paycheck protection program that Congress got, they're locking people up for taking that money.
Whoa.
Because one of the requirements is a certain, they've got very strict requirements. You gotta have a certain amount of employees. You gotta have this, you gotta have that. And guess what? A lot of Edomites are going to jail because they're taking that money. And then the government's like, yo, wait a minute, man.
You didn't qualify.
Yeah, you didn't qualify to the slammer, man. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That's what's going on.
Let me ask you a question.
All right. Hold on. That's what y'all think. That's what y'all think. That's the mind game Esau got y'all thinking. But the truth is, the real truth is that if you ain't part of this, let me stop my screen. If you ain't part of the top percentile, you don't matter. You don't matter. If you're not among the rich, you do not matter. Okay? Oh yeah, we're gonna hold. I'm gonna hold this for now.
Okay.
Yeah, because she wanted. She heard about it. Let's get. Don't worry now, Vadi. Forget about this week. Go ahead. You got something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since as we were reviewing that, we saw all of those storefronts that were empty. Is this, could this be a good time for Israelites to get together and start their own little businesses? I mean, thinking about it, we got a lot of Israelites that are awake across the nation. For example, you get a storefront, and you know somebody that can sew, and we already have graphics design shops all around. We could open up, our little congregation could open up a little storefront and sell Israelite wear and things of that nature.
You a little bit ahead of me, but we gonna get there. You start to see it. You start.
Yeah, I'm saying it.
No, we gonna get there. We gonna get there. No, we definitely gonna get there. And that's the whole point of doing this.
This would be an investment that would be looking out for our people.
Bring it up.
And we can really move things if we get together and communicate and get on one plateau, get on one.
It's called economic separation.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
This is the whole point.
And that goes from our gear, our wear, our lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
See, and the issue is that we can't have economic separation until we separate spiritually.
Yeah.
And then we can't separate, we can't, well, let me say it this way. We can't psychologically get to where we at until we separate spiritually, right? We have to separate spiritually, psychologically, and you know what, it's right here.
Yeah, that's from last week's cook.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Spiritually, psychologically, economically, socially, and physically.
So for us to get to where we're like, okay, let's invest our money, let's put our money together. We have to get with the first step. The first step is to realize spiritually that we are not a part of this system. Yeah. We are not included in this system spiritually first.
Yeah.
Everything that's designed in this system is spiritually set up to destroy you. Then psychologically, you have to understand the next layer is set up to destroy you mentally. Okay. So what did they take during slavery? The first thing, and I'm recapping this. What did they take during slavery? What was the first thing that they took from the slaves during slavery?
His name.
Clothes. It's clothes. Why would you take somebody's clothes first? Because if I see you wearing warlike apparel, I might remember, yo, it's wartime. You might see me and be like, yo, it's wartime. And all of a sudden, Massa got a problem. But if you take that away from them, you strip that away from them, you psychologically damage them to the point to where, wow, we don't even have any clothes on. We're naked, right? Okay, so you psychologically damage them. So spiritually, you're already done. Psychologically, you're already in tune with where they want you to be. So what happens next? They put you in a position to be a financial, economic slave. And that was what they did. They threw us in the cornfields. They threw us in the cotton fields, the rice fields, and the sugar fields. Okay, that was how you became a financial slave in the system. Now we're doing it in reverse. Now we're learning it in reverse because that's why Martin Luther King told Harry Belafonte, I seriously integrated my people into a burning house. I literally walked them into a burning house because, believe it or not, during the time of segregation, all our people wanted was better textbooks.
Yeah.
We just wanted better water fountains.
Yeah.
The opportunity to have the same clothes that they would have, not eat at the same businesses. Why would I want to eat at your business? Your woman can't cook better than my woman. Right?
That's correct.
Your man can't, you couldn't cook better than me. We can run businesses better. We can run schools better, hospitals better. We didn't need that. But what happened was everything that they set us up for was civil rights. They set us up to worship people that wanted us to integrate with the people who paid us. And that was what was done. And that was why Martin Luther King said what he said 5 days before he was murdered. He said that 5 days before he was murdered because he was snapping out of it.
Yeah.
He realized
what
had to happen. Okay, we talked about that in the first one. I'm not going to kind of go back into that one, but we talked about it in the first one. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 20. 2nd Ezra 6 and 20. Because y'all saw what was going on with Esau's businesses, right? Okay, let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 20. And we're going to read down to 25. Yes, sir.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And when the world that shall begin to vanish away.
When what?
When the world that shall begin to vanish away.
So this isn't talking about the planet Earth vanishing like we see in Naruto or in some comic book, right? That's not what this is saying. Read on.
Shall be finished.
Shall be what?
Finished.
Uh-huh.
Then will I shew these tokens.
Mm-hmm.
The books shall be opened before the firmament,
mm-hmm.
and they shall see all together.
Read on.
And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices.
So young children are starting to talk. They're talking more clear. They're being born. Read on.
The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old.
So aren't we having younger children now, even premature children that are actually living? than we had before,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I can speak for my children. I can speak for mine. You couldn't tell by looking at them. They were like 2-3 months before they were, 2 pounds. Jaden was 2 pounds. He was 2 pounds, 6 ounces. He was 3 pounds, 2 ounces when he was born. Look at him now. Yeah, no, you couldn't tell. But the scripture is talking about that because back in those times, women had babies around that time, they wouldn't live. But this is talking about these days, right? Read on.
I'm starting from the top.
No, read on from where you're at.
Okay. Or 4
Verse
months,
21, start at verse 21.
and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices.
Mhm.
The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old,
Mhm.
and they shall
And
live
they shall live, come on,
and be raised up.
read on.
And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown.
Wait, stop right there, hold with your spot. The stone places are what we just saw Esau's store. His store was sown. He had it sold up. In our terminology, it was sold up.
Right.
All he had to do was run his little store, probably 40, 50 years. People knew him by name, he stayed in business, didn't have no problem. 30, 40 years, it was sold. He had it sold up. And then what happened? Read the end of that.
The full storehouses shall suddenly
No, before that. It was sown and then what?
and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown.
That's what that means. Those sown places are unsown now. They're closing, they're falling, right? Read on.
The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
The what?
The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Yeah, we've seen that, right? We've seen that everybody fighting for toilet paper and water. And there ain't nothing on the shelves, right? We've seen that, right? Read on.
And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid.
Mm-hmm.
At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein.
Mm-hmm.
The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever remaineth from all these,
Whosoever what?
remaineth from all these
Read.
that I have told thee shall escape
Mm-hmm.
and see my salvation
Mm-hmm.
and the end of your world.
And the what?
End of your world.
And the end of your world. The end of the world as we know it. We're seeing this in the beginning. We're seeing all of this come to pass. Scripture ain't lying. This is all prophecy. This is Ezra giving us a clear-cut prophecy. And if y'all read the entire book of 2nd Ezra, it'll freak you out. It'll freak you out. It's powerful. Because we can see a lot of these things in our lifetime. We can see a lot of these things that have come to pass in our lifetime. Because the Most High is bringing judgment to this place. And financially, we need to know who to help. We need to know who to help. But how do you know who to give to? Let's find out. Let's get Ecclesiasticus. We're staying in the Apocrypha, chapter 6. Chapter 6, and we're going to get verse 7.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes.
Hold on, give him 7 seconds. I hear him back there still turning pages. You got it? You good? All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
If thou wouldest get a friend,
If thou wouldest what?
get a friend,
Uh-huh.
prove him first,
Prove him first. Go ahead.
and be not hasty to credit him.
When I got people that I've proven, like my good brother William right here, I'm not gonna hesitate to help. There's nothing to think about. Right? That's what the scriptures tell us.
Thank you.
Right? That's what the scriptures tell us. This is how you prove a friend, right? Let's get Ecclesiasticus 12:1. All right. And if you all been studying with me for a while, you know we go here when we start talking about some of the situations with our family members, our friends, but we're gonna deal with it right here. Let's go Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 1. We're gonna read through 8.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1.
Mhm.
And thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
So you gotta know who you're doing good for. All right? Read on.
So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits.
Don't you all want to be thankful when y'all are helping people? When y'all are helping these people, don't you want to be thanked for doing good for them? Would you like to be thanked? Or would you like somebody to say, thanks, and get yourself one? Right? Read on.
Verse 2. Do good to the godly man.
Do good to who?
The godly man.
Read.
And thou shalt find a recompense.
Mm-hmm.
And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
Then yet from the Most High. See, that's why I have proven my friend. That's why I said what I said about the scripture. Don't hesitate to help my brother right here, because I wouldn't be doing it to get something from you. I'm doing it to get repaid from the Most High. Because nobody's going to outgive him. You understand that? This is how we know who to give to. This is how we know who to prove and who not to prove. All right, read on.
Verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Read that again.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
If somebody's always occupied in evil, there's nothing good can come out of that. If you see somebody always occupied in evil, they can't get right. They won't get right. Nothing good's going to come out of that. Read.
Nor to him that giveth no alms.
Nor to what?
Him that giveth no alms.
Nor to him that giveth no alms. If you're not giving anything to the body, or to help the body of the Most High and his Son to help build his body, no good can come from you anyway. Everybody got to understand that. When we start talking about alms, we're not talking about alms so we can stack money. We're talking about alms because it's in the scripture. It's a defense from death. Okay, it's a defense from death. That's how powerful alms is. Even the Messiah talked about alms. All the prophets got alms, and they paid alms. Okay, read on.
Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
Read that again.
Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
Read it again.
Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
Any questions? Any questions? That's very clear. Read on.
Verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly.
And lowly was what you did. What you did with the shoes.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Okay, the dude was lowly.
yeah.
Okay. You better than me. I'm a little rough-hearted when it comes to the heathen. I get it. Hey, look. No.
You know what?
No.
And
I get it, but I'm just saying that the scripture is speaking about that. That's what the scripture is speaking about.
And also, after our first conversation, that was a great gesture, and it was humbling.
Mhm.
But as you said, according to scripture, we have to know who to help. Meaning, we need to help Israel.
This is the only way we're gonna build our nation up.
You know,
Is we gotta know who to help, and we gotta help the
I
right.
doubt very seriously if he was an Israelite. I kind of thought he was, and I mean.
No, don't beat yourself up about it. You got a token of reward for that.
But you know what? I gotta give on. First of all, I can't take what do you call it?
The credit.
Yeah, because it was my wife's heart. She was on her way to work. It was pouring down rain. And she looked over to the left and saw him on the corner early that morning.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he shoeless and damn near clothesless, because he didn't have on much when you and I saw him. He damn sure didn't have on no shoes, and he had a dog too. Wait a minute, who?
Hey, we're gonna see that more and more. I mean, in this kind of
That
judgment.
dog got a southern dog ain't never did that to nobody. If you can't take care of yourself, take the damn dog to the shelter. If you don't make him,
The dog might have been his girlfriend, you don't know. I mean, this is the wickedness we living in. This is the world we living in. You know that's lawful to marry your dog. Everybody understand that? In the US, you see that, right? Look, I don't put nothing past the heat. Nothing past the heat. And we're seeing this more and more. Like we saw Joe Biden write up a executive order to make it lawful for transgenders to participate in girls' sports. So now you got they had this pre-Olympic track meet, to where these two trainees were running in the girls' track meet and came in first and second. Poor girls was like they weren't even trying. And you got grown men over here talking about we girls. I'm just being a trans. Well, if you're just doing what you do, then it shouldn't matter that you're a girl. Why don't you race with the man?
There you go.
Because that's what you are. You can't give birth. Why don't you run with the men? See? But I'm just saying this is the wickedness of the place that we in. Okay? Let's go ahead and finish that one.
Verse 5, do well unto him that is lowly,
Uh-huh.
but give not unto the godly.
Then give not to the ungodly. Read on.
Hold back thy bread.
Do what?
Hold back thy bread.
Go ahead.
And give it not unto him,
Mm-hmm.
lest he overmaster thee thereby.
Unless he comes to you with the gun to threaten to take your life or get your money, you give him the money. You don't sit there and fight, try to get the gun out of his hand, the gun goes off, kill both of you. Okay? That's not of the Most High. Give him the money. Okay? If it's that serious, just give him the money. You know how some of these Jake says, man, no, I'm down for mine. Well, use the fool.
Yeah, but that's maximum.
I can get some more
When the
money.
life is more precious than anything in the world. That's what Yahweh said.
Right.
Your life is more precious than gold.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, but you got to realize that there's a lot of our people that don't know who they are and who they like. That's why Job, in the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8, he said, if I didn't know my fathers, I would despise my life. I would hate my life if I didn't know who I was. That's what's wrong with a lot of our people. They don't know who they are and they hate themselves. So when it comes to taking money and somebody pull a gun on them, well, guess what? Their money is more valuable than their life. You see how destroyed that is?
Yeah.
That's from being psychologically oppressed in this system. Okay, in this burning house, and a lot of our people are burning up with it. Okay, they're burning up with it, and we're talking about how to get out of it. Okay, read on.
For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
Read verse 5 one more time.
Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. Or else thou shalt receive twice as much evil.
Thou shalt receive what?
Twice as much evil.
Read.
For all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
Now, I'll put it this way. Jay, let's say I come to you, my good brother, and I need to borrow $100. Okay? Let's say you got it. And you're like, cool, I know Shazelle, that's not a problem, right? But then I turn around, I take that $100 and I give it to somebody that hates you, hates everything you stand for, and does nothing but evil towards you. I turn around and I know this, and I turn around and give him that $100. Here's my question to you. Who are you going to be more mad at, me or that person? Why? That's the way the Most High feels.
Okay.
That's the way the Most High feels. Y'all understand that? Twice as much evil unto the good that you try to do to this one that's ungodly. That's how he feels. You know this man hates the Most High, but we're going to try to help him and give money anyway. Well, that blessing was for you.
So
I didn't give that blessing to them. I gave that blessing to you. Just like you. You gave that blessing to me. But I turn around and give it to somebody that hates you. Y'all got to understand how this works. Because economically, we keep ourselves in slavery. And this is about freeing ourselves from that bondage. Economically. It's something to really think about. Okay? And the scriptures tell us how to deal with it. The scripture, the Most High teaches us how to deal with it. But what do? We do what we want to do. Right? We do what we want to do. We go to the strip club, make it rain. Jack. Right? We out here, we doing everything except what we're supposed to do. We done tried everything else. We done tried everything else as a people. Why not try following the laws? Why not try following the Most High and getting in order with him? Spiritually, psychologically, economically, socially, and physically. Go ahead.
That's why we have to see Black-owned businesses, and we ready to spend our dollars. I mean, they're a little hard to find because I've been trying. I've tried, but we do have to start in spending our dollar. We need to seek Black business.
And this is the mindset we got to get in constantly. But we got to build from that mindset, because a lot of times the Black-owned businesses are not going to thrive in this country. So, you know, the whole point is, if you're watching this and you all are getting understanding, either thumbs up the video, like it, send us an email if you want to know more. Okay, the email's at the bottom of the screen. Send us an email if you want to know more. But you're absolutely right, sis. We need to move into that mindset, and that's what this is about. Okay, go ahead, read on something.
Verse 6, for the Most High hated sinners.
He does what?
For the Most High hated sinners.
But wait a minute, I thought the Most High loves the sinner and hates the sin.
The Most High hated sinners.
That's what we told in the church.
That's the Christian church.
The Christian church tells us that the Most High loves the sinner but hates the sin.
But this ain't the Christian church.
It ain't in there.
Right. This is the real church right here.
Yeah, it ain't in there. Read that again.
For the Most High hated sinners,
Mhm.
and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keep them against the mighty day of their punishment.
He's going to repay vengeance to the ungodly and keep them. He's going to preserve them until he sees, okay, here's the best time to pay you back. That's the way the Most High's judgment works. And that's what you see going on with Esau. They've been sold, they done had it sold up for 50 years. Now all of a sudden it's a ghost town. They don't know what to do. Hey, well, maybe we can get out in the streets and what do you say? Get out in the streets and have a carnival or something. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Well, maybe the Most High, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. The Most High has put the spirit on Esau to destroy his own kingdom.
There you go.
That's what's going on.
There you go.
That's what's going on. Read on, sir.
Verse 7, give unto the good and help not the sinner.
How many times you gotta say it? Give to the good and help not a sinner. And this is not talking about somebody that's messing up and trying to get it right. This is talking about somebody that is willfully sinning. You done told them over and over and over again. We're the children of Israel. We're not supposed to eat pork. Don't eat pork. Stop eating bacon. Stop doing this. Stop celebrating Christmas. Stop, well, Merry Christmas. That's nice. Happy New Year. That's nice. Happy Thanksgiving. Right? Don't help the people. Those are willful sinners. That's what the scripture's talking about when he talks about sinners. These people are not complete. They're not perfect. They are sinners. They're not trying to be anything else. Okay? Not trying to be anything else. Go ahead. Read on.
Verse 8, a friend cannot be known in prosperity.
A friend cannot be known in prosperity. When you got a lot, you don't know who to trust. Because everybody friend.
Yeah.
Everybody cool with you when you got a lot, right? Am I right? A friend cannot be known in prosperity. Go ahead.
And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity.
Ooh. You can't hide. When I'm going through something and you're my enemy, I know exactly who my enemy is. You can't hide yourself. You can't hide yourself. Let's get the book of Acts. You can go to the front. Acts chapter 4. Let's get verse 32. Acts 4 and 32. Okay, go ahead right now.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 4, verse 32. And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own, but they had all things common. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the King Yahushua. And the great grace was upon them all. Neither was there any among them that lacked. For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them.
Sold them. So the ones that had a bunch of land and had a bunch of houses, they sold them. And what else?
And brought the prices of the things that were sold.
They brought that money back. Go ahead.
And laid them down at the apostles' feet.
So they took all that money and brought it to the apostles, gave it to them, and what happened?
And distribution was made unto every man according as he had need.
Didn't we read that in the law? Didn't we read that in the law? We read that in the law on how we're supposed to help our brothers, right? They had it. They sold it. They gave it to the apostles, and the apostles decided who needed what and gave it out accordingly. This is what we need in Israel, okay? But we can't do that in the Christian churches. Why? Because next thing you know, pastor gonna have a Lear jet.
Pastor already done told you, I'm gonna just new Mercedes by Christmas Day.
No, and pastor already he's also telling you that he can't fly
Right,
the G5
right.
because the fuel's costing too much. So I need a new plane that don't carry as much fuel.
Right.
I mean, seriously, we can look these things up, and that's what's going on. And this is how we're supposed to deal with each other righteously when it comes to finances, okay? When it comes to finances in the scripture. Finances is in the scripture. This is the way we're supposed to deal among our nation, completely separate from the world. The world don't operate this way, okay? If you ain't got it, you just stuck out. But that's not the way we're supposed to deal with each other as a nation, okay? Now, I'm gonna show y'all some stats, okay? Okay, I'm gonna show y'all. Let me pull this up. And share my screen. Let's see if you guys can see this in the room. Okay. Okay. Let's see, can we, do me a favor. Let me turn the power back on. It's got a screen saver. We're gonna talk, some more economics right here.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. You been okay? Hey, man.
Let's see. I don't know if we can, if everybody can see that, but this is pretty much, this is an article on really a chart on our dollars, okay? Okay. Now, I'm gonna get you guys the rankings as far as GDP, and GDP equals gross domestic product, okay? That is how countries spend their money, okay? I'll give you guys this information. Okay. Okay. Bear with me. I want to get straight to the stats. Okay. So. go to the GDP, and this was, I believe this was like a year ago or 2 years ago. This shows the so-called black people are spending $1.2 trillion annually, just in America. 1.2 trillion, all right? Now, it's actually higher than that now. Let me show y'all yeah, we can't really see that. Thought we were gonna be able to see that a little better. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I better look at that. Everybody bear with me. I just want to pull some stats up. I don't think that one's gonna work. I can't really see that one too well online. I'm gonna pull up the rankings. By country. Let me just go to that. What is one against 2020? Okay, let's see if we can see this. Okay. Okay. Some of this is give or take, you know. Some of these stats tend to make sense. Some of them they don't to me. But we are talking about GDP, which is pretty much what a country is worth. Okay, the ranking in 2020. Okay, you're talking about the United States being number one in GDP. Okay. I'll use this chart. Okay. That's it. Can y'all see that? Is that coming through clear? I don't know if this chart's gonna work. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the stats real quick. So the one I wanted to use, I couldn't blow that up. Okay. All right. Projected projection of actual rankings. Top 25 economies in the world. Let's see. Let's just pull this one. Okay. Here you go. United States, Japan. No, United States, China, Japan, Germany, India, the UK, France, and Italy. Top 8. Okay. Here we are. Okay. Annual growth. All right. So you're talking about the United States GDP is 21.43 trillion. China's at 14.3 trillion. Can y'all see that? Yeah, everybody see that? Okay. And then Japan 5, Germany 3, India 2, the UK 2.8, France 2.7, Italy 2.0, Brazil 1.84, Canada 1.74. Okay.
Where the United States at?
Number
Number one.
21.43.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. Okay. Now, I just want to bring it up here. our GDP, just the so-called African Americans in this country. The spending dollar, I wanted to show you guys this, but the spending dollars for so-called African Americans is over $2.4 trillion a year. Okay. Let me go to, now, you add that, you couple that with the so-called Mexican American GDP. Let's see if this works out. Okay, this one works out. Let's do this. Actually, see that? $1.5 trillion. That is an annual account. When you add just Israel's, and I didn't even add natives into the equation, okay? I didn't even do that. But when you add the amount of so-called African Americans, so-called Mexicans, that GDP together, you're talking about well over $3.5 trillion. Now, where is $3.5 trillion on the world ranking? Let's look at it. Looks like fifth.
Look like what?
Looks like fifth. $3.5 trillion is right underneath Germany, more than India, more than the UK, more than France, more than Italy, more than Brazil, more than Canada, and more than over 200 different countries' economy across the globe, across the earth. Now, that means that Israel's buying power is top 5 on the planet. Without even understanding it. Top 5. Here's the difference. Y'all know the difference between Israel's top 5 economy and GDP in trillions. You know the difference between us, India, UK, France, Italy, Brazil, and Canada? Y'all know the difference? Those countries, even though they don't make as much money as we do, those countries have an army, they got a navy, they got an air force, they got schools, they got hospitals, they have infrastructure. Do y'all understand where I'm going with this? Does everybody see what we have as a nation?
For the money that is combined within our people, that puts us over the top of them people, we don't know what to do with our money. We don't have an army.
No.
We don't have a hospital. We don't have a government of our own.
We don't have a government, right?
We have no soldiers.
Right.
We have no infrastructure. So who's benefiting? It's not us.
It's the #1 economy on the planet.
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah, United States.
Right.
So what does that tell me? That tells me that we as Israelites need to get our shit together and put a graphics together. We have our own engineers, we have our own doctors, we have our own scientists. I don't know why this is going in the direction that it's going, because we have everything that Esau has, except the platform and the unity to start walking with it.
You're close. You know what else would have happened? That he saw that? Yeah, I guess. Anybody else? In a way. That's more powerful than that. It's a commodity, actually. Land.
We don't have our own.
We don't have our own. Okay, now, let's deal with that correlation. Okay, let's deal with that correlation of land and money in the Bible. Okay, because we just saw what we're worth.
Right.
We just saw what we're worth and how we rank among the planet right now. Right now. Okay. What is Jake out here buying? They get their stimulus check. So go get some J's, TVs, right?
Speakers.
Put some new rims
Hey,
on them.
what's that game you playing? What's that game? At home? What's that game? Huh? Yeah, go ahead and say it. Splatoon. Take them go out and buy Splatoon 3. You know what I'm saying? Get that new PS5.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, this is the mindset of our people.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, it hurts to really go down that road, but when you really think about it, that's why our mindset is.
And what was the first thing that the Most High did? He gave every nation a land inheritance. Every nation a land inheritance. See, that's why we got the land of Canaan, because when you read about the curse of Canaan, it had nothing to do with his skin. That's a lie. That's white supremacy. The curse of Canaan was him being removed from his inheritance of his land, because Israel was going to be in there. So his land got snatched. So Canaan never, his descendants don't have land. Okay, that's why there's a doctrine of Canaanites. I think you've probably seen something like that, right, Jay? Ain't there a Canaanite doctrine? And then there's one in reverse.
What?
Right? We're not going to even get into it. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't trying to stand you out there, but you're a witness. You know what I'm talking about. There's these doctrines out here that have to do basically with the land and where those people were that came out of that land. Okay? So let's deal with the correlation between money and land in the Bible. Let's get Leviticus 27. Okay? Get Leviticus 27. And let's get verse 12. Let's get Leviticus 27 and 12.
Come. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 27, verse 12.
We're going to read down to 25.
And the priest shall value it, whether it be good or bad, as thou valuest it. Who art the priest, so shall it be.
So the priest is supposed to value the land. Why the priest? Because the priest is going to follow the land laws. Okay, we also have land laws as it correlates to wealth. Read on.
But if he will at all redeem it, then he shall add a fifth part thereof unto thy estimation.
Unto the estimate, there's going to be an added 5%, a fifth part. Okay, read on.
And when a man shall sanctify his house to be holy unto Yahweh, then the priest shall estimate it, whether it be good or bad, as the priest shall estimate it, so shall it stand.
So however the priest gives an estimate, whatever that value in that amount is, that's going to be the value of that home and that property. Okay, read on.
And if he that sanctified it will redeem his house, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it.
Wait. You reading? Start 15 at the top.
And if he that sanctified it will redeem his house, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it. and it shall be his.
And it shall be his. You gotta add to it. It's called appreciation. Okay, the land has appreciation. Go ahead.
And if a man shall sanctify unto Yahweh some part of a field of his possession, then thy estimation shall be according to the seed thereof.
So that's the estimation is supposed to be based on what grows in the land. Okay, what can grow, right? Read.
And homer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. Verse 17, if he sanctify his field from the year of Jubilee.
The year of Jubilee is that it's a year that you take off from growing the land. Okay, you're supposed to have a Jubilee, which is close to a Sabbath. So you have a certain amount of time. When you have land, the land laws say that you're only supposed to grow for 6 years. On the 7th year, the land rests.
Right.
And then you deal with another part of the land that year, and then you grow 6 years, and that part of the land rests. On and on.
So forth and so on.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Read on.
According to thy estimation, it shall stand. Verse 18, but if he sanctify his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall reckon unto him the money according to the years that remain, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and it shall be abated from thy estimation. And if he that sanctified the field will in any wise redeem it, then he shall add the 5th part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be assured to him. And if he will not redeem the field, or if he have sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed anymore.
So you can't just resell the land, resell it, and resell it. Okay. Once it's sold, it's sold. Okay. You know.
But the field, when it goeth out in the Jubilee, shall be holy unto Yahweh, as a field devoted, and possession thereof shall be the priest.
Shall be the priest. The priest own the field after that when it comes to the Jubilee, and if nobody owns it. All right. Read on.
And if any man sanctify unto Yahweh a field which he hath brought, which is not of the fields of his possessions, then the priest shall reckon unto him the worth of thy estimation, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and he shall give thine estimation in that day as a holy thing to Yahweh. In the year of the Jubilee, the field shall return unto him of whom it was bought, even to him to whom the possession of the land did belong. And all thy estimations shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 gerahs shall be the shekel.
Shall be the shekel. Okay. So when we reading about this, we're reading about the Jubilee because a lot of times when the land wasn't in possession, when the land was resting, some people would come along and say, "Oh, this land is unoccupied." Well, whenever there was a land dispute, it was always decided by the priest, okay, of Israel. There's also a law that says on the corners of your land, you don't cut the fruit off on the corners of the land. So that way, when people go by, if they're hungry and they want to eat, they can eat off of the corners of the land, okay? It's totally different than what we understand here in the world, all right? Let's go to, this is going to be my last scripture. Let's get the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 23. Luke 19 and 23. All right.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 23. Wherefore, then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury. And he said unto them that stood by, take from him the pound, and give it to him that hath 10 pounds. And they said unto him, King, he hath 10 pounds. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him.
Okay, we're gonna read that slower. Read verse 26 a little slower.
Okay. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given.
For I say unto you that everyone which half, meaning everybody that has it, if you got the money, shall be given. Okay, go ahead.
And from him that hath not,
Mhm.
even that he hath shall be taken away from him.
So it won't matter about your money. We're supposed to invest in our own people. We're supposed to give to our own people. We're supposed to invest in our own people. Even the Messiah talked about it. Okay, so when you start to look at your economics, are you investing in your own people? Are you investing in your own people? Because your forefathers did. They had laws that pertain to only investing in our people, and how not to charge our people interest, how to deal with the land, how to sell the land, and land inheritances. Even with the money in the bank. This is the Messiah talking about the money that's in the bank. If you got it and somebody don't have it, we're going to give it to him. We're going to give some to him. If he does have it, then you need to be helping out the bank so we can continue to distribute it, even with the apostles. People sold their land, their houses, gave that extra money to the apostles so they can distribute it to their people. Everybody sees that. So we gotta really wrap our minds and our heads around the ideas of not being economic slaves, because once we begin to understand that we're supposed to invest in our own people, do business with our people, come together with our own people before anything else, then we separate ourselves economically. Anybody got any questions about what we talked about today? You know, is it all making sense to everybody? Okay. When we look at what we're worth, what we do with our money, we really got to evaluate how we handle our money, how we invest our money, how we spend our money. Okay. Even how we save our money. Because a lot of times our people take our money and throw it into our oppressors' banks. That's not helping us at all. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Okay. I mean, we're in the process of changing that, but at the same time, we got to call a spade a spade.
But we don't own any banks.
Well,
very few.
We own a few. We only own a
Very
few.
few. I mean, I'm not from here. I'm not from Texas, so I can't say how many black families own banks here.
Mhm.
But my wife and I remember when we were coming up, we had a family on Union. There was some brothers. They were college graduates, and they opened all black bank, Gateway Bank on Dr. Bridge and Union, and then you had another one. It wasn't too far from there. I can't think of it.
Well, we do have some black bank stuff, and the thing is that once we come together and we start to seek out some of these institutions, then we got to make a conscious decision and say, okay, let's take it a step further. Now that we are deciding that we're going to pull our money out from the oppressor and start to invest with our own people, then we have to decide, okay, now what's the next step? Okay, because it's one thing to say we're going to put our money into a bank. It's another thing to say that we're going to invest in land. And y'all reach out to me. We have a plan for our people. We do have a plan. A lot of congregations, they talk, a lot of camps, they talk about it, which is good. It's good to talk about it. It's good to bring awareness to it. But we actually have a plan. I'm not going to go into that plan here on Facebook because they're going to block me. They're going to shut me down because it ain't got nothing to do with Esau. But reach out to us in the comment section or hit us up on the email and we can go in further. We do got a couple of more weeks when it comes down to breaking this down, all 5 parts, but this is the 3rd part. And like Jalil said, this is one of the most important parts. It's economic separation. Okay.
You're right, man, because as you were reading scripture, and then the scripture was telling us how to delegate and how the authority is delegated in the process of the land transition. Banks buy land.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm,
so we got that down, banks,
mhm. And the banks buy the land, but but the scriptures say that the
The land.
priests are the ones that decide how this goes.
that's what
You
I'm.
see that? I mean, we're dealing on a totally different, yeah, according to scripture. We're dealing with the oppressors'
Right,
laws.
right.
Okay,
Right.
so this is part of separating ourselves from their laws, is dealing with the, the Messiah said that we're part of a royal priesthood. So that means we have the right
So
to delegate how we handle our money.
So I've been delegated as a priest in this congregation.
Right.
And one of my duties and jobs is to help ensure that Jamel, Deborah, and so forth and so on, we already know, the priesthood already knows that these families, individual families, need some land. Now it's our job to go out and interact with the rest of the brothers and the community and pool our money together. Now I see the picture. The picture is not for you to be sitting up on a big hill, okay, in a 32-room mansion. The Most High, according to this scripture, as I'm understanding it, through the priesthood, through this land that He gave them, everybody is supposed to have an equal share.
Everybody's supposed to have land.
Everybody's
supposed to have land. Everybody's supposed to have houses. So for example, when we start to really break this down, and I said that was my last scripture, and now I'm going to get one. Nava said, read what she said.
He says, we do have a black bank called United Bank. It's in California. You can do online banking, but I'm sure Esau have hands on it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
If it's FDI insured.
Right. So let's go to last one, Deuteronomy 32, and I believe it's 8. Freestyling this one right here. I believe it's Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Yes, read that.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
So when He divided all of the nations their inheritance. Read.
When He separated the sons of Adam.
We're all sons of Adam, and He separated us, right? Read.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
He set the boundaries of the lands that He gave to the nations according to the number of the children of Israel. Why? Because we were supposed to rule over the nations.
We were not supposed to. We were supposed to lend to many and borrow from none.
Right, exactly. We're supposed to be the ones on top. That was the way He set it up. But if you notice, this is talking about the boundaries and how He divided their inheritance. Their inheritance was the land. That was the inheritance. And that's something that our people don't wrap their heads around. The value of land ownership. That's why the oppressor came and stole it from Mexico. They stole it from Central South America. They stole it from North America. They stole it from California. California, Texas, and pretty much most of the South is Mexico. They stole it. They never paid for it. They called it the Louisiana Purchase for what?
Come on.
What did they purchase?
What did they purchase?
Us. They were selling.
That was what the Louisiana Purchase
Right.
was.
They were selling us.
Yeah, that was what it was. I'll give you some more slaves so I can get business over here. That's what it was. They didn't have no money and give the owners of the land that just
True that.
see. So when we start to separate ourselves economically from the system, we see it for what it's worth, and we deal in an opposite. We deal in a way that causes us to be separate economically. Okay. So
According to Scripture, we do it biblically.
Exactly.
Biblically.
You got a question?
Dad, look at the Manifest Destiny, like most famous Manifest Destiny one. Like they had it, like they bought all the land, but the people who like sold it, I think it was like French, right? Europeans. They had to move, like they had to move the Indians off because it was already their land. They basically moved them off.
They took that land.
Yeah, they just took it.
They just took it.
Yeah, and if they didn't leave, they killed them.
Yeah.
That's the way it worked.
But they looked out there and saw that the Indians, a lot of them was French. And they were living, and they were multiplying, and they were growing corn and living off the land. They were doing better than the Europeans.
That's right. The Europeans didn't even know how to survive
Right.
when they got here.
And they was getting fresh water from the brooks and the fresh water spring.
Yeah.
The water coming off the rocks, purifying itself.
And look, I'm gonna tell
And
you.
these guys said, we gotta do something about this.
But see, these are things that we're talking about that may seem boring to people, but what's Israel doing online? The Drop It Challenge. What's the new one?
Silhouette.
The Silhouette Challenge.
Oh,
no.
Okay, so now they got another challenge to where they just turn the lights off. What is it?
They get naked.
Yeah, and then like
Get
you
naked.
got the red.
That's what
And
we're
then
doing
also,
now.
people are finding a way to like get rid of the silhouette
No,
filter somehow.
So they can see people.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
what we're doing.
that's weird.
Instead of trying, well, you got to realize,
That's-
2/3 got to go. This is all we thinking about doing. This is what our people are thinking about doing. This is the level of psychological indoctrination we in. They may not believe in sweet white Jesus, but psychologically, they love America. And they love America's ways. They love it.
America got a lot of blood on their hands.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. I thank everybody for their time. I thank everybody for the input. And I want to thank my young soldier here. I want to give a round of applause to young soldiers for passing the soldier test. So I'm Captain Chevy, LRA.
So, all right.
And say Shabbat Shalom.
Congrats.